All right, so let's try to plot a function that has these properties, right? Um, so what are the points that we're interested in? So we're looking at a few points, right? Looking at x approaches 1. Let's make that a little more obvious. We have x approaches 3 from the left, right? And we have another one, x approaches 3 from the right. Right, so let's just work through them one by one, okay? So what is, so we're supposed to sketch the function that obeys these conditions, right? So let's start with 1. Okay, let's say this is x equals 1, and this is x, and this is f of x, okay? So if at x equals 1, this function has the limit as x approaches 1 from both sides. So if it's not indicated with a minus or a plus, right, as a superscript, then we should assume that we're talking about the limit of the function as you approach it from both sides. So we're interested in figuring out, okay, this function as we approach 1 from the left and from the right, it should have a limit of infinity. That means this function goes off to infinity from both sides, right? So that would, let's just make a little line like this, right? Make this a little more obvious, okay? So this would look something like this. So it comes up and shoots off to infinity on the left side, and similarly does that, right? Okay. And we're also interested in the point, so that's what, let's call it 1, this is 2, this is 3, okay? So we're also being told that as the function approaches 3 from the left, it approaches 0, and it approaches, as 3 from the right, it approaches minus infinity. So what would that look like? Okay, so we can see that, well, this might be confusing. I'm gonna color this the same color, blue. Okay, so this function, as we approach 3 from the left, it approaches 0. So this, we can continue this, right? This can get closer and closer to, no, that's not good, 0. To 0, right? And right, and then as we come from the right hand side, this approaches minus infinity. So that means, let me just make this a little longer. Okay, so as we come at this function from the left, from the right hand side, it does something like this. It's like, it could be anything, but like this would work, right? So I'm just gonna draw another asymptote at 3, okay, and it's gonna do something like that. Okay, so it's got a vertical asymptote at 1 and 3. Okay, and this function, this could be defined, I mean, this could be defined at 0, so this could be at x equals 3, well, this function could be 0. Right, and then from the right, as you approach it, it's got a different limit. But from the left, as you approach 0, and so, and this could be defined at 3, or it could be not defined at 3. So if there's a hole here, there would be, this function would not be defined at 3, right? But we could still have a limit at 3. But I'm just saying this function is defined at 3, and the limit as it approaches 3 from the left is 0, and from the right is infinity. And this satisfies our requirements. Okay?